most central.
All right, Phil, thank you. Okay, Casualty, here we go. Waxy, go for it. Oh, my word.
Electroencephalography.
What? No,
together as one.
Electroencephalography.
There's to get a point. Okay, what does it mean?
Yay!
What do you think it means?
Can't say it. It's a scan of the brain, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you be a bit more specific?
CT scan.
No.
Okay, don't say anything. Let's do a clever little thing where it turns over. Measures electrical brain activity.
Now, come on, I think that's very near.
What do you think? It's up to you.
Come on,
give them a point.
Give them a point.
All right, yes, you have to. So Casualty are leading by 2 points to 1. Okay, now, it's not a fix at all. Oh, competition, competition. Is it like this between Holby and Casualty is what you want to know? Okay, now, we want to see you guess the X-rays that are up there. Phil, my gorgeous Debbie McGee, is going to help us out. Okay. Left to right, you've got 15 seconds to tell me, please, the three of you. You've got 8 seconds. Go for it, quick.
That's the shoulder.
Yes, and the other one, quick, quick.
And
3,
knee.
2, 1.
No, it's the arm.
Stop. Stop. Okay, Phil.
That one's a shoulder X-ray with a fractured neck of humerus, and that's an elbow with a fractured electron.
Yeah, we got both.
Okay,
you
Phil.
said knee.
How many points, Phil?
2 points.
Your word is final. Okay, now the Casualty team. Don't look at him like that, Waxy. Go for it, Debbie McGee. And the other one, you have 15 seconds from now.
Esophagus and the lungs.
Lungs.
Chest X-ray.
Chest X-ray.
Need more information on that one.
They want more information on the first one.
Up here.
Fractured shoulder. Collarbone.
Okay.
Can't fault that.
Oh, yes! Well done. Oh, I'm so medical. Under 15 seconds. So there you go.
Okay, they'll get 2 marks for that, for the
2
chest
points
X-ray
for that
and the
as well.
collarbone.
So at the end of round 2, Holby have 3 points and Casualty have 4 points.
Yes! Hooray!
Okay, this is where I'm now tested to see if I can pronounce the words correctly, because it's quick fire. Holby, you are going first, okay? You've got 3 points. You have 30 seconds starting from now. Which Holby star enjoyed a career as a teenage model?
Lisa.
Yes, correct. What does the abbreviation REM stand for?
Rapid eye movement.
Correct. Okay, prop question. Could you give me the first one?
The first one?
Okay, what is that?
It's the P.
It is. For men, you're right. Okay, what is the name of the ward on which Holby City team work?
Darwin.
Yes, correct. Which East End bad boy has romantic links with Kirsty Collins, Karen Newburn and Ellie Sharp? Michael French, Nick Jordan. What is rubella more commonly known as?
Measles.
Oh, no, sorry, I can't give you that. We had to take the first answer. You had 8 points. Well done. Okay, you've got to get...
Come on.
4 points for a tie break, okay? Please tell me why he's called Waxy.
Because
Go on. Yes. In fact, I think his wife may be watching. Apparently you wax lyrical.
Yes. He talks rubbish.
He's a flirt.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Which member... Oh, sorry, your time starts now. Which member of the Casualty cast is linked to the following night spots? The Cafe Royal, Stringfellows and the Ritz?
Myself.
Yes, because you've sung there. What links Roy Barraclough, Kate Winslet and Pete Postlethwaite?
They've all been involved.
They have been. You can see more about that Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Okay, what is this?
That's something for a chest ray.
Yes. Yes. Yo, you did it recently on Casualty. Where would you find your humerus?
Your elbow.
Yes. Which programme links Robson Green, Casualties, Patterson, Joseph and Holby's Ian Curtis?
A soldier.
Correct, yes. Hooray! We look at that.
My boys, good boys.
Good boys. The Holby team, give them a cheer, please, everyone. Get 8 points.
Sorry, mate.
But the winning team with 9 points are Casualty! Okay, now, Steve, our producer of this. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
All right. I have a gold envelope here. In that, I'm very pleased to say, a bit of a surprise for you, is £200 to the charity of your choice. Who would you like to give £200 to?
The Wallace and Gromit appeal for the Bristol Children's Hospital, please.
Fantastic. Great appeal. There we go. That's yours. Rebecca, can I... Give Rebecca the check. We'll leave it in the hands of Rebecca. Also, can we all have a round of applause for the brain surgeon, the flatmate of Gerald, and the very handsome Phil Medical advisor. From now on, I think you should be called Debbie, because you did a good Debbie McGee, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nice glittery dress. Lovely.
Nice gold shoes. It looks splendid. Go thinking that might be like Paul Daniels. Ah! Okay, now we think that laughter is the best cure. Laughter is the best cure. No, it wasn't. Laughter is the best cure. So here is that some mothers do have them. That is fantastic. We all were giggling, although it came back very quiet. Now, here's the phone number, and Vince, you're going to lead them because you've been teaching everybody the tune. Sing. If you'd like to speak to the cast, here's the number.
0990-100-765.
And I mean, you can ask them absolutely anything at all. They've told me you can. So please give them a call. But now, here is a special Ready, Steady, Cook.
I feel a bit shattered though.
The blood and guts. Brilliant. Much better, isn't it?
Back in London, the team of writers and producers are already hard at work on the new series.
You said that very clearly.
Who's next on the hit list? Charlie.
That's what I'm saying. See, suddenly we're talking about this guy thinking he's being unprofessional. We've seen everybody bonking everybody. You know what I mean? And they've not been unprofessional. Now suddenly we've got Max, and Charlie's saying, you've been unprofessional.
It's a good fight for him to get his attitude back, because he's fighting for his staff.
This huge production juggernaut first hit the road back on the 6th of September 1986, when the nation got its first dose of Casualty. We expected a British Dr. Kildare. What we got was rather different.
Yeah, it was quite a shock when the yellow VW turned up. I think we actually dubbed the episode Noddy Goes to Hospital. It was a last-minute thing, and it wasn't expected. It was, up to that point, it had been a motorbike, which is where the motorcycle jacket, which is a sort of Charlie trademark in the early days, came from. And at the last minute, they decided that was just too much of a business to provide all the sort of clearance out on the roads for using the motorbike, and this yellow VW turned up. It was very gently humorous, a lot of that.
No running in the corridors, Dr. Samuels.
Charlie, I'm going sick visiting. It was very interesting when I was offered the job, because, you know, emergency ward 10, I thought, oh, it's going to be just another medical soap, and I wasn't sure at the time that that's what I wanted to do. And I remember my agent saying, no, you've got to do it. This is going to be cutting-edge drama. It's got Derek Thompson and Brenda Fricker. It's going to be a tough drama.
What?
Let's get him on a monitor.
We were very deliberately trying to do two things at once. One was to make heroes. In our first format, we described all the staff as heroic. We didn't, though, want to make angels. What we wanted to do was make people who were brave and extraordinary in different circumstances, but also had their human foibles.
Stand back.
Right, you're going to have to stop when I go in.
Yeah, go on. Enough.
That's it.
I think the reason we chose nurses over doctors was quite simple. They represented to us the infantry, the people who actually dealt with the frontline casualties as they came into the department. And we also wanted to try and create a family of characters within the department.
I've read diet can help manage MS.
At the centre of this family is one man.
Hello, this is Charlie Fairhead, A&E Clinical Nurse Manager. Please put the major incident plan into operation immediately.
Derek Thompson has played the level-headed nurse since the very first episode. But before the character could be cast, he needed to be invented. The writers looked for inspiration. They went to the Bristol Royal Infirmary to do some research. Almost by accident, they came across the real Charlie Fairhead.
we were led and introduced to a man called Peter Salt, who's a charge nurse, who's still the medical advisor on it. We were so struck by the way he was dealing right at the very front edge of every problem that came in, was making judgments, was talking to patients, was talking to relatives, and it was really his domain.
I actually broke off during the conversation. I actually had to go and deal with, as it happened, a fatal road accident, and then came back. Following that, they suddenly realised that the whole business about accident departments was all about 1 minute lots of drama and lots of excitement going on, the next minute straight back to normal. The reason we fixed on a male staff nurse was simply that it was something we saw with Peter Salt, and we wanted to work from him, and he became Charlie Fairhead.
I identified in Peter a great directness about his enthusiasm for caring for people. Watching him on the first studio day, I watched him walk through a lot of very excited people, all buzzing with adrenaline. And Peter Salt walked through that with great calm and great attention for people's feelings, and watching him was an education.
If you've been involved in it, it's not the sort of thing they'd expect you to do normally. And so
I suppose I'd have to give him 50% rights on the character.
I heard a woman died here last week because one of your lot overlooked to scrutinise her causes.
Quite sure how brain damage had come into it in your case, Mr. Cartwright.
Very funny. What rank are you?
Charge nurse.
I'd like to report you to your superior. Who's your boss?
Me.
Oh.
I think, you know, he is the person who, if any of us were unfortunate to have to go into casualty, we'd want him looking after us because he cares. And I think he sums up the type of people I've certainly met working in hospitals who have a commitment that goes beyond a normal job and who do have that caring attitude. You know, he's everyman, he's the guy next door, he's the guy who we believe exists and is a normal bloke working in a hospital doing extraordinary things.
So you just come along with me and we'll soon get you cleaned up.
He has an energy and a commitment which, I mean, I've been there, I've done 49 hours of peak practice, so he's done 250 casualties. He's as fresh now as he was when he started. He's a linchpin in a series that, without him, I think would have been very, very different.
Stop crying! You don't fool me! More lies! You're crying for him!
No!
I was thinking about it the other day, you know, you used to watch it when you were 14 or 15 years old, and now you're actually in it. The weirdest thing was actually getting to meet Derek, who's kind of become an institution in this country.
I'll get one of the nurses to grab some. You lost the use of your legs, Doctor. My nurses are not here to run errands just for you.
You really care about what Charlie's up to, and, you know, when he puts his head in his hands on the desk, you think, oh no, don't, oh no, what's the matter?
Happy New Year.
The magic touch.
Take it easy, will you?
Makes me glow.
Well done. You're doing very well.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. The spell.
No. Oh,
it rings a bell.
Excuse me, could we do the cabaret somewhere else, please? Why don't I get you a cup of tea? Nice one, boss.
Certainly I haven't had the sort of the dramas at work that Charlie's had, that's for sure, and Derek I think would be sort of like a nervous wreck if he'd had all the things to cope with. So I mean, there have obviously been ups and downs in my career and difficult things and problems that have happened, but I mean I've certainly picked up the occasional punch in the face, but I certainly haven't been held at gunpoint or had the department explode around me, so his things are much more dramatic than mine.
Shouldn't you be somewhere else? Come on.
So much of our lives are here, Charlie. So much of us. It's all gone.
It's not gone. The work doesn't disappear just because the building's gone, Duffy. Come on. Everything we've done still counts for something, you know.
We're finished, Charlie!
Duffy.
Now, that episode was one of the most popular ever, and many people thought that burning down the A&E department at Casualty would be its death knell. But thankfully, no. Holby City Hospital is alive and well and located in Bristol. But what a lot of people don't know is that the ambulance entrance is in fact outside Brunel University. But when the patients get wheeled in, it's to somewhere rather different.
The glamour of it all.
I know.
All this and money too.
Who'd think that we make Casualty down here on an industrial estate?
Well, we can correctly claim to be factory workers, can't we?
Yeah, clocking on.
We are the Holby factory. Walk this way. It's a bit more like it. And this is...
welcome.
The Holby TARDIS.
Inner sanctum.
It all gets much bigger in here. And after you, I always find this bit frightening.
Every episode of Casualty takes 2 weeks to film. 1 week on location, establishing the lives of the guest characters, and another week filming inside what is known as the warehouse. Budgets are tight, and so is the time available for rehearsal, so it's important the actors are well prepared for each scene.
You're tired.
No, I'm shattered. I've got no life, I've got no relationship, and I've got a 7-year-old that I love very much, but I'm usually too natty to play with. Look, I haven't eaten all day. I need to pick Tom up in 20 minutes, and I'm in a hurry.
Just don't think about leaving. Look, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Look, I may have made my mind up afterwards.
You're kidding me. I've already spoken to Gary about promotion here. Yeah, we can't afford to lose you. Look, we've got to talk about this.
With up to 30 episodes in a series, the regular actors will spend almost 8 months of the year with each other, so it's crucial that they get along. Luckily, they describe it as being part of a big family.
Good cut. Nearly. Cut. Reset, please.
They're so warm, it's so friendly, it's so egalitarian. Nobody's more important than anybody else. Everybody goes out for drinks, you know, makeup and sparks and wardrobe, and everybody, it's very across the board. People aren't segregated off, so I really like that.
You know Bob, the guy that plays Max? Granddaddy is. Yeah, no, he's just like my dad, you know what I mean? I just go to him with all my problems. He thinks I'm this little, like, his little daughter with all the problems.
Oh yeah, it's always nice to be the boss. In life as well as in TV. So yeah, it's great playing the boss. I mean, I always like, when I was doing theatre, I always liked doing Kings, because they're the ones who get to sit down and everyone else has to stand up the whole time. And so I suppose a consultant in a hospital is like king or a god. And it's great to play, yeah.
And so they're coming down on the Saturday night, but we'll go to the hotel then so they can do swimming and all that, because they like that.
I really want to represent these women well, because I so admire them for what they do and the way that they're doing it. I mean, experienced, practical, hard-working, but unindulgent, unsentimental, but very humane, always very kind, very straightforward, you know.
I don't know how he is, and as I said to your colleagues, if you wait outside, a statement will be made as soon as possible.
What are you doing here? It's not enough you put my son in hospital. You've got to come here and crow about it. Now get out! Take it! You've got the special right to...
That's the terrifying thing about taking a job for 12 months, that you think, can I really make this character interesting for 12 months? And then the second 12 months, it gets even harder. And I think if I do another 12 months, it'll get even harder again, because you've always got to try and bring something fresh, or make him that people will see him and not know exactly what he's going to do and what he's going to say, that people might be a little surprised. That would be nice.
Look, I've just come to see how the boy was, that's all.
Right, well, he's all right. We've got an IV at the moment. Now, fortunately, he swallowed a lot of river water with the cyanide, so we can treat him with the antidote. That's the sort of thing I like to do. You can play anger, you can really shout and stuff. You can do that sort of thing. The hardest thing is just saying, Charlie, there's somebody on the phone. What do you do with that? But this scene was really, yeah, really vibrant, so I really enjoyed that, I think.
All right. Happy colours, huh?
Inevitably, the ever-present Charlie Fairhead has lost many of his colleagues over the years, like the popular Oscar-winning actress Brenda Fricker, steady-handed Nigel Levaillant, the reassuring Saoirse Cusack, the gorgeous Patterson Joseph, gentle giant Clive Mantle, the much-loved Patrick Robinson,
pop star and squaddy Robson Green. And who could forget Streetwise Union Rep nurse Jude, played by Lisa Coleman.
I was a bit more normal. People have a lot of stereotypical ideas of what nurses are like, I think, due to Barbara Windsor and Carry On nursing, kind of matronly, or people think you're like kind of nuns or maid characters. So I think Jude was much more like the real nurses I'd met, quite strong women. She's got to be quite a strong woman to cope with an A&E environment, I think. Oh, very attractive.
Badge of honour. Know what it stands for?
Nope, and I don't want to.
But no matter how entertaining we find the regular cast of nurses and doctors, they'd be completely redundant without one vital ingredient: patience. Unlike any other series on television, every week Casualty presents us with a new group of characters, lets us get to know them, and then often, when we least expect it, seriously injures them.
The Casualty format is essentially about, it's the guest story, it's story of the week, it's getting into the lives of somebody in the real world, taking them on a journey that ends up in Casualty.
They've certainly dealt very well over the years with their major incidents and the traumas that happen for both patients and their relatives in times of stress.
I don't want to sit there critiquing whether they're practicing medicine correctly or not, and you know, I'd prefer just to enjoy the drama.
No! One thing all the victims share is that they'll end up in A&E, and the chances are that they'll get there in an ambulance driven by the paramedics of the Holby Ambulance Service.
40, SATs 86% over.
Do you have an ETA?
Yeah.
Actor Ian Bleasdale is in awe of the real paramedics.
It's a hard job. They deal with a lot of nasty people. More and more, the assaults are on the increase. And it's an incredibly skilled job. They do work with consultants, and doctors sometimes defer to them, the good ones. And they make decisions, instant life or death decisions. That's not being dramatic, that's what happens. The added degree of difficulty is the fact that they do it there and then, on the spot, with no equipment. And if they get it wrong, people die.
Let's have you out. Out, quick as you can. Quick as you can.
If you're talking about frontline medicine, they are the front line of the front line. And actually, they became a little story in themselves because their relationship is separate from and also part of the Casualty team. I really loved the paramedics, actually.
ETA, 5 minutes.
How good you are, how valuable you are, and what the world can see. Femur fracture.
Hey, you're gonna be fine.
Love me.
It's times like that I wonder how civilized we are.
Go out as soon as you can. Then we'll get you comfortable, all right? In an orderly fashion.
His right hand was severed at the wrist.
Okay, very gently.
It's a girl.
But it isn't always strangers who dial 999, as the ever-confident Josh Griffiths discovered.
3 Norwood Lane, Holby. Fire service responding. Reports of persons trapped. Over.
Oh my. 616. Confirm that address as 93 Norwood Lane. Over.
Confirmed, 616. Are you familiar with the location?
Drive list, please. It's the nightmare call-out for a paramedic to get a 999 shout to find out it's your family. Can you imagine that? It was very difficult to do. The only way I could try and portray anything like that, but I tended to think about my son, what would happen, and my wife, what would happen to them. It's the only way you can do it. It's a very strange situation to be in.
Quick as I can. All right, let's get her on the cot. Okay, you do the burns, Penny. I'll check the airway.
It looks blocked. Let's just go.
All right, feet first. Are you all right to drive, Penny? No problem. Josh?
Get her up, okay?
One of Casualty's most familiar moments is when the resus doors burst open and the paramedics rush in with a critically ill patient on a trolley. This is where the magic of modern medicine takes over, as the doctors and nurses pull out all the stops to save lives.
Cardiac in the past 10 minutes and his stats have dropped, now 95%.
Cut. Casualty has always been famous for its medical accuracy and painstaking attention to detail. The show employs real doctors and nurses to ensure the actors know exactly what they're doing.
You can get these in some distance. You'll partially have the chest drain tube in, okay, there'll be lots of blood oozing around the wound. Generally everything is medically accurate. We take that from the script level all the way through to the actual filming of it to make it as accurate as possible. But obviously, for the sake of drama, we do have to slightly up the ante. And again, procedures that would, say, take 45 minutes to accomplish have to be done in 2 scenes. So the superhuman Holby speed comes in.
It's not everywhere. I couldn't see a damn thing. Somebody get that door, will you?
Oh, that's it.
I do remember I had to have a tracheotomy, which was very, very scary because they spent 6 hours painstakingly putting together this contraption, but they only had one. Budget allowing, they only had one, so they had to get it in 1 take. And I remember seeing this real scalpel going through this plastic flesh, and there was this little man under the table with this tube frantically pressing it so that the blood would come through it, and thinking there's only this little metal gauze between me and the scalpel, and just praying that it would work because it was the only one, and we only had one.
An awful lot of people have said to us they have learnt more about medicine and the workings of a hospital via our fictional representation than if they had read a book on the same subject or watched a documentary. And that's a hell of a responsibility to take on. You have to keep that in your mind when developing those stories and looking at the facts.
You will find patients who, for example, if you're going to take them into the emergency room if they need cardiac monitoring, you'll explain to them what you're going to do and they'll reply, oh yes, I know, I've seen that on Casualty.
Rattle through your dialogue? I know I wrote it, but remember it, mate.
The medical advisors read and help to write every script, as well as advising wardrobe, makeup and design.
Okay, so luckily this antler is non-pulsatile, you're just casting your eye on it, you're not paying very much attention to it, okay? You then go, we're in, just as you get the chest drain railroaded into the pleural cavity, blood comes hosing out the end of the tube, okay?
Yeah, when do I say we're in?
When you get it in.
When you get it in, right?
It's a great bone of contention between myself and the cast. When they first start on the programme, they want to sound real. They want to use all the flash terms, all the abbreviations, until you write them down and they realise that it takes them 14 takes to get it out. And they just don't understand what the words mean. To me, it's the everyday language that I speak in, so it's very easy for me to just scribble this all down and it makes perfect sense to me. I know exactly what's wrong with the patient. To them, it's like getting them to recite some foreign language and they stumble over it and then say, oh, can we not just say it more simply?
Big hemothorax, it's torn the epigastric.
BP's 80.
Right, let's tip the trolley, get his head down, open up the fluid. If there's any O-neg left, give him 2 units to the level 1. Let's think about central line and the catheter.
Sexy.
Oh.
Women will love it.
Yeah, can I read it when we do it? Let's face it, Phil's a complete swine and he does love to give me awful lines. The best ones are the acronyms, are like, you know, using these and FBCs and CXRs and up to PITU, ASAP, okay? Those sort of things are the ones that you like doing, because you're just reeling them off. It's just a list. Could be shopping.
Nice little quiet moments.
There's the storyline board. No, we did. They did broadcast once upon a time. Bacon, egg, sausage, tomato, fried bread, tea or coffee.
On the patient board.
On the board. And it went out. Can you spot that one?
So when he sticks his thing in me, it hurts.
Yeah. They've given you stuff for the pain, so you're a bit woozy and not completely with it, but that is ridiculously sore. Okay, it's like someone sticking a big set of forceps up the inside of your chest, because that's what they're doing. Just fill up that hole, mate.
The prosthetics department applies stage blood to the open wound. Every episode uses up to 12 pints, which over the 250 episodes means they could have filled a swimming pool with the stuff. What a thought.
I've never actually had an antler of that sort, but I've had many other penetrating chest injuries, bits of fence, people falling out of windows, landing on picket fence is always quite a good one. Knives, it all ends up with the same result, but an antler seems slightly more glamorous to somebody in the BBC.
I'm sure I heard the word action, didn't you?
Oh, it does that to you, doesn't it? Reception.
If walls could talk.
Yeah. It's so strange, it's so quiet, it's like a ghost town. This place is usually heaving.
Think of the stories that have passed through here. Think of the faces that have passed through here.
When your day is long.
Don't envy your job.
Night is yours alone.
Sluggish.
I can't take on his grief as well.
Had enough.
I've had this dry cough and breathlessness.
What about that? Does that hurt?
No, not at all.
Let yourself go.
I think God wants me to stay.
You've called an ambulance.
I did. I said as soon as possible.
When will you understand, Josephine? This is my destiny.
Oh, wow.
Everybody hurts.
Oh, sorry, it's just... I've had enough.
How am I ever going to live without you?
Sometimes everything is wrong.
You've made me happy. Please, just keep away from me.
Now it's time to sit alone. Day is night.
Harry Horner, London Evening Star.
Feel like letting go.
How are you injured?
I was viciously beaten up, which was why I wanted to do